Yo, 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 welcome everybody to TCR Trinity Competitive Racing for round number 9 of the Golden Class. This is the inaugural race for the Dutch Grand Prix, the very new track in this year's game. I am Seafreeze and I am alongside none other than Blind Machine. How are you?
Doing great. Super excited to watch our golden drivers go around this brand new track. We've got some weather already stirring things up just like it did last night for Silver Class, so I don't even know what to wait for in this one. It's a great track and I'm super excited.
Yeah, it looks like a little wet out there. You ready for this one? It could be a pretty crazy race. I don't know about the race, but in quali it definitely is intermediate conditions. How will this play a factor as Red Bull of Acho, or no, was it who? Arrow was spun in the high banks of these tracks. It's kind of crazy, the elevation, isn't it? Crazy the elevation. Do you think with the wet, it'll be even harder for these drivers to keep it like on the track?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, last night here we sort of started off in full wet conditions, at least right at the start of the session, and then we switched over to intermediates. And I gotta say, I had trouble posting any sort of a lap together because this track by itself is very slippery. The curbs, you can't touch them at all, especially a couple of them where it completely throws off the car. And when you add water on top of this track and on top of everything else, it's a really technical track to start with, but in the weather, it is very, very difficult here.
Yeah, right before I introed the stream, we saw Jippo lose it, and we see him lose it again off the last corner. He definitely has damage on that Red Bull. He's going to have to come in and pit. He almost took himself completely out on his starting his flying lap, and he almost just did it again, probably going for multiple hot laps. Man, that's both Red Bulls on the same lap just spun, so the conditions out there are tricky. Before we go any further, I just want to go through the championship standings, and Jippo, that guy right there who is at the top of the class at the moment, is proving that it is difficult out there. And even though it's a new track, everyone and he's won multiple races this year, it is one of the few, another challenge in this long season. So let's see if Jippo can get past that today, as he's barely just got through by his wing. But yeah, Flying Jippo is the championship leader at the moment, 142 points, 5 wins on the season, followed by Seacrest and the Mercedes with 83 points. So he's got a fair cushion between the two, and then Acho and the McLaren in P3 with 75 points. Arrow, his teammate, with 72 points, and then we have Stanley with 69 points in the Renault. So that's your top 5 for the championship. Acho goes P1, 18.9, and he is one of those contenders. So maybe this is, right at the halfway point. This is when it starts to shift a little bit, as we get we still have plenty of races left, 8 races left, including this one tonight. But you can sense throughout the next few races how the championship will kind of go, and see if Jippo will increase his championship lead, or will it one of these other guys come back and make way.
Well, I'll tell you why he's not waiting around. He went back into the pits and he came right back out again on another brand new set of intermediate tires. One thing to note, if you see the guys at the top right now, Chargers, Asio, Stanley, those guys have done 3 laps on those intermediate tires, and that's just something about those that particular compound of tire. It does require warm-up over a couple of laps at least, and as we're seeing here tonight, maybe even 3 laps. That is pretty much where it gets all of its power down and all of its heat into the tire and back onto the track. So maybe that's something to look out for later on in this qualifying session. Maybe you got to give yourself just a little bit more time to come out of the pits and do more than just one flying lap. Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yes, and I guess I will go through the constructors as well, just so we're all updated, as Stanley goes with the 18.7 for pole position. It looks like it's drying up there. Do you think we'll go to the slick tires?
It's definitely not raining anymore, so it looks like it's just the water that's left on the track that now needs to be cleared off. A lot of people are sitting in the pits. We still got more than 9.5 minutes to go. There's plenty of time for the track to dry up, definitely. Oh my goodness, Flying Jippo losing it again. He was coming through turn 7 there and just lost it back, managed to catch it again, but that's going to be one more lap aborted.
Wow, so I feel like none of these laps even matter. It's really about who sets the last final time, because these conditions, it's not raining anymore. If anything, it's a slight drizzle, but I don't see nothing coming down. It's going to be drying up. And I do think the drivers might be able to put the softs on at the end, or maybe they'll do the medium, or maybe difference of strategy, but the and Jippo comes around the last corner. I'm a little nervous here. I want to stick on board as he goes through and he spins again. No way, Jippo. There must be oil or something on the track. I know it's the high banks. These cars are not. This is like a NASCAR race in the last corner. These cars are
Absolutely.
not. They're not used to this high banks. And oh, and the Mercedes. Who's that? Oh, Mercedes is out. Who's?
Yeah, that's Puff Digital. I'm not sure what happened to him, but yeah, this track is very crazy, and that last corner in these sort of conditions, that is absolutely impossible to make it through there. You gotta feather the throttle a couple of times to make sure that you've got some grip under you.
Yeah, and Digit in the Alfa Romeo in the last corner, he also went for a spin, and then Jippo as well spun in the first corner. So they are all over the track, especially in that last corner as we saw Puff Digital retire. Puff Digital, I was just about to say something about him.
Another spin of a Haas also coming out of the last corner.
Wow. I was just going to say something about Puff Digital. It's his first race in TCR. I was going to wish him a little good luck, but maybe I should have said it a little bit earlier for maybe him to get some luck. Maybe in the race, Puff Digital. Well, welcome to the grid. He is taking over the Mercedes for the remainder of the grid. And that brings me to the constructors, which I will go very quickly, and then we have to get back to the action here. We have Red Bull, Jippo and Arrow leading with 214, Mercedes of Seacrest, and now Puff Digital with 152 points. Stanley and Josh and the Renaults at 123. Team McLaren of Jones and Acho has 86 points. Gade and Chargers in the Racing Point 74, and then it follows as Williams, Haas, Ferrari, AlphaTauri, and Alfa Romeo with no points on the season. So
Asio is out on the track on soft tires. He's the first one to come out there. DRS has been enabled on track, so we are back to dry conditions, or pretty much as close as possible to.
Wow. Who do you got in the closing stages here as far as predictions for pole position? Do you think Jippo has it? Or I don't know if he's got the right setup or knowledge of the track to even get even a dry lap in.
Well, let's hope so. I mean, it would be definitely very interesting if he doesn't end up there towards the top of the grid to start the race. That would definitely throw another firework into the fire here tonight. But we also don't know what weather's going to be like in the race, and in the case that any sort of rain comes in, I think Flying Jippo might have a massive issue. As we've seen so far in qualifying, it's been hard for him to keep it on the track. You might have something, you might have touched on something there. I think setup might have something to do with it. It's either he's got it set up for a dry, or he just doesn't have a good setup. Oh, Asio coming out of the last corner onto his first hot lap on dry tires, loses the back of the car, almost smashed into the wall, kept it out, but he lost all of that speed, so he's going to have to abort and go for another try. Stanley is going to be the next guy to try and go around on a soft tire. He's just coming out of the second sector right now.
Yes, and it looks like Josh had disconnected. He is back in the Renault. I don't know how long he was disconnected for, but looks like a lot of the drivers are just in the pits waiting this one out for a few more minutes to get that last possible lap. As we have Stanley coming around the last corner, he's going to start his lap. I guess we'll go on board and see if he can snatch pole position for the moment, as the Renault, it's a very short lap around here. It's quite fun throughout. I don't know about so much in the wet, but the dry, it is fun. Through turn one, a lot of banking, a lot of different elevation changes. You throw it into here, up around, and try to get really good on the traction. And the next few corners is just flat out as the track winds left, winds right, and this is the tricky point. The back end can easily come out as much speed as you can carry. And it's a purple's first sector for Stanley as he's going through this tricky middle sector. A lot of, I call them swoopy corners. As another good traction zone here. It is a DRS zone. I don't know if it's enabled DRS. It looks like it is. And another hard braking zone. He's going to have another fastest second sector. And then the last couple corners is just about hooking it up. Especially that last corner with the banking. Let's see if he can hold on to it. Stanley coming around. This should be a purple lap here, as he's probably one of the first drivers with dry tires, and it is a 13.363. That is provisional pole for Stanley, and it looks like
Chargers is already beating him in the first sector.
Oh, man.
Chargers was quicker there, and I was going to say, 113 isn't super quick around here. I think we're going to see some drivers get possibly into the 110s even. Like, we've seen people last night do quite good laps there, and Chargers just cut turn 11 completely. As we didn't really mention, but we are running regular track extension rules for tonight. The only corner we are policing is turn 11, because that's really the only one you can cut here. It's very harsh, and Chargers has abandoned that lap, so no need to review that one.
Yep. He either was trying to time the last run perfectly, maybe he's getting new tires on and going for another run as he sees the track conditions are improving, or maybe it was the track limits thing, but I'm pretty sure it's about the conditions. Because as these drivers, still, mainly almost all drivers are still in the pits. They're waiting for that last opportunity, and I think in the next 30 seconds to a minute, you'll see everyone dive out of the pits, and it's going to be crazy. As Deegit is on a lap here. He's provisional pole. He might be coming in, but he's got a 13.2. And like you said, in a regular dry qualifying session, you could see lap times of between anywhere really from like a 108 to a 110 depending. So there's still a few seconds off that pure dry one-shot lap. But I think the final laps, as we see Gold Raiders now into the 10s, and I think you'll see drivers dip into the 9s as well as we come to a close. Gold Raiders on pole position. Deegit comes into the pits. And now everyone's coming out.
Yeah. Huge amounts of cars are just coming out of the pits right now. I'm just watching all of them siphoning out into the first few corners here. So now it's going to be a little bit tricky for those guys to make it into good space and into open air to make sure that they post some good times. Z-Grease right now is running in some beautiful open air. He has nobody around him, so he's going to be in a really good position to try and go for a quick lap here. This is going to be his only try, because there's only about a minute and 20 seconds left, so you might be able to do 2 laps, but he's going to be cutting it very close as he starts his lap now, and we've got, oh my goodness, it looks like about 10 cars out on laps right now.
Yeah, it's going to be very close. I think Secret's, he's got a clean track ahead of him, but I think he's too far ahead. The track conditions will improve dramatically. As we see Gold Raider, he stayed out for another lap. He's going to be at a 110. And I think that will, I don't know if that's even good for top 10. Because this track is ramping up really, really quick. I think we will see, let's see, Seacrest is still on his lap coming through. Let's see what his sector times are. There's a caution in Sector 1. I think that is all fine. But it seems as everyone's just on their laps at the moment, it's really anyone's shot, an opportunity. But Seacrest goes fastest second sector. He's 6 seconds up on his time, so that's at around a 113. We'll see if he has anything in the last sector coming around. Let's see what Seacrest got. Hits the DRS. Going to be P2 at a 10.3, so it's still a little bit of time left to gain. Jones is P3.
Flying Jippo, purple in Sector 1 right now. He's on a flyer lap doing a really good job coming into turn 10 right now and around there really cleanly as well. Opens up the DRS. So he's made it through more than half of the track. Purple in the second sector as well. 7.5 seconds up on his previous time. So that would put him at around a 112-ish, 111 highs possibly. Let's take a look here as he is going to be coming around the banked curve. This corner is amazing when you get it all right, and he runs so close to the wall, and he is pole. Wow. 109.2, a low 9. That is beautiful.
That is a really good time. I will say that is a really good time, but Stanley gyps it. He gyps it at a 109, barely 300ths of a second, and that is not all. Arrow, his teammate, Jippo's teammate, goes P3. Is that everybody? We got Segrist. I think he's all out. I think that's it. Everybody did their laps, and it looks like Stanley will get pole position. It seems like everyone just finished their laps at the same time. And Stanley is the guy on top.
Of a second. Yeah, that's all that separates them. 28 thousandths of a second. That is incredible. And I think that was maybe just down to track evolution, like you mentioned earlier, just a few minutes ago when they were all coming out. Zegries drops down to 8th. I think he was in like 3rd when he crossed the line, so that just shows you the track evolution right there. And yeah, Arrow and Flying Jippo, those guys, oh my goodness, putting on a push here tonight.
There's also a fair bit of drivers not setting a lap time. I know we have 2 reserves which can't set a lap time, and that is Steven and Shokodia from Silver Class, but there was also a few other guys not doing some lap times. But Stanley does get the pole position, barely over Jippo, and that's crucial because Stanley's kind of still in the fight as we have the next half of the season to go. Let's see if he has anything for him today. Jippo in P2, Arrow P3, Chargers in P4, Golder in P5. He also showed some speed as well. We'll see what he got today. Acho, RC, Segrist, M9, and Fazale is your top 10. And like I said, those are a few other drivers. Ben, Intent, and McLaren at the end set no time. I don't know if they had any penalties or not. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, Jones and Osseo both on that medium tire, so that's going to be very interesting to see how that's going to measure up to the softs. I actually personally think they might be in a better position. They can push that medium tire for a little bit longer, and then that hard tire doesn't have to run for, 30 laps or whatever if you're switching over to it from a soft tire. So that will be nice to see. It's very, very nice and sunny on the screen, so doesn't look like we're going to have any weather for at least the start of the race.
Yeah, that's good to see. I always like a good dry race. We had a little fun in qualifying, and now it's we put the slicks on and see who's really got it. It is hard to overtake here, though. I think that's one thing we can't really ignore. There's a few opportunities. I think there will be overtakes because it's a kind of a new track, so drivers are a little bit more prone to maybe making a little mistake here and there, and that might open up some more overtaking opportunities. But as we go throughout the race, I think you'll see there's really down the turn 1 and maybe the other DRS zone, everything else will be very, very close and very tight. So hopefully that proves us wrong, and there is a lot overtaken, but it's going to really come down to track position, and I think that the guys at the front are really going to have a much better race than maybe some guys starting towards the rear. We got full 20 drivers as well, which is good to see. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. And last night I did see some opportunities for overtaking being created in turn 3 and turn 10, just because it's a really wide corner and you could go up the inside or around the outside. So it did kind of end up in a couple of incidents last night as well, so maybe that's going to be another thing we'll have here tonight.
Yes, and I just want to say thank you all for tuning in on the stream. We really do appreciate it. If anyone's interested in more about TCR, the website is down below. You can sign up as well as there and check us out on all of our social medias at eTrinity Racing. If you're not subscribed already, consider subscribing, and it'd be very much appreciated. This is the time where we need everyone watching to post their predictions down below. This is the time to do it. If you don't do it now, you're cheating. I say it every week that I do this. You need to put your top 3 predictions down below, otherwise they don't count. And we're going to start with Blinn. Right on the spot, who do you got for your top 3?
Alright, top 3, I would say Flying Jippo, Arrow, and Asio. I think he's put in some beautiful times in qualifying. Didn't quite end of the session there, but he wasn't far off. I think he was about 6/10 behind the leader, and he's starting on that medium tire, so he's definitely got good potential to make it up to the podium.
Awesome. Pretty good predictions. I'm also... Let's go with Arrow for the win. For some reason, he sticks out in my mind today. We'll put Chargers P2, and we'll put let's put Seacrest P3. It's going to be a little bit of a crazy one, I think. So that's my top 3. Will I get it right? Probably not. I never do. As everyone's coming around here to start or to end the formation lap.
Yeah, let's see if our viewers are gonna get it right. So definitely leave us some comments, leave us a like. Let's get ready for this one. Should be a good one in Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix. I'm super excited.
Yes, as all 20 drivers line up on the grid. This is round number 9 of the Golden Class for the inaugural Dutch Grand Prix in Season 10. We got 5 red lights. Freeze with the call. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And away we go at the new Zandvoort Grand Prix. Jippo gets a flyer of a start. He is all the way in the lead. As we have a 3, 4, almost 5 wide. We got a Haas off the track. But it's Jippo, followed by Stanley, Arrow, Chargers, and Acho as we come through here. A few incidents in the back. Do you see anything, Blinn?
Oh my god, that was a big one. So Diego had a little bit of a spin coming through turn 4 or 3 there, and he spun around onto the track. We have a virtual safety car. A couple of people hit him. There was a couple of pieces of front wings flying around. Looks like McLaren P1 has damage. I think possibly Puff Digital. Yeah, he's missing a big piece as well. Let's see who else is missing. Any pieces?
I think the Haas as well. Intense. Yes,
yeah,
Intent
and
has some.
Golderator. Both Golderator was the Haas that we saw going wide there. He got tangled up with, I think it was you, Evan the Giggle. It was or possibly might have been Diego. So yeah, lots of incidents right off the bat here. I was watching towards the back, and there was a lot to watch.
It was pretty clean at the start. Jippo got a flyer of a start. Man, I don't know if the lights went out earlier or not, but it definitely looked like it. He had a clean getaway, and we are back ready to go racing here. Jippo gonna lead the first lap, and with Stanley right behind. It looks pretty clean up front. In the back looks like some troubles, as a bunch of people, I assume, are gonna come into the pits as DRS is enabled. Did we skip a lap or something? How is DRS?
No, it just sometimes the game glitches out a little bit like that. But we've got the bottom 5 drivers all into the pits. M9H, Intent, Diego, McLaren, and Puff Digital. All the guys with damage on the car are into the pits now.
Alright, and looks like everyone's about at a half a second between each other, trying to wait for that actual DRS detection zone activation point. But it's all pretty good. It might be a pretty good race as far as strategy goes. See who can take these tires the longest, or maybe an undercut can actually win the race. Like I said, overtaking might not be the best around this track, so strategy might come a little bit more into play. But it seems like Jippo over a 1.1 second gap over Stanley. Let's see if anyone's got anything down the front stretch. Seems all good. Seacrest is pretty close to Acho, and the McLaren will go on board. And just a little, not quite there. 2 Ferraris. RC goes a little bit wide, but it'll be fine through there.
Oh, it looks like Steven and you having a giggle are also getting tangled. Oh, there is a tangle somewhere. It looks like out of turn 11 and
McLaren,
12.
yeah.
And McLaren there is having some trouble, so that is not going to be fun for him. Nip, Steven, and you having a giggle, having a nice battle. You having a giggle, almost loses the car as he comes out of turn, I think it was, yeah, turn 8 there, and wow, that was a nice touch on the grass, and he almost lost it, but managed to save it. But those two are still battling for the position. TCR Jones is trying to catch up on Fuzz right now as well. Almost thinking for going down for a dive into turn 11, but thinks twice about it. Touching the curb on the inside of the corner there, that's something you definitely don't want to do either.
Yeah, both McLarens are the top two guys, though. We have another incident. I think it's Golder Raider. He has spun it on track. He's got another broken wing. So that is probably another pit situation. Man, that's crazy. And Giggle gets overtaken by Steven down in turn 1 with DRS now activated. I was just going to say the McLarens are the top two guys. They're opting for the medium strategy. So they're on the harder tire to start this race. Acho is up to P5 with that strategy. Might come in play as we come a little bit farther into this race. Gold Raider pits again. Let's see.
Yeah, so Golder didn't pit at the start of the race. It was Intent who had to pit, but Intent is now in P15, so Golder Raider is actually behind his teammate right now because of a later incident. I'm watching as Asio is actually losing time on Chargers, so I'm not sure if that's just the compound of tires still playing to Chargers' advantage, but Asio is also having a little bit of trouble in some of the corners holding on to the car, so maybe that has something to do with it as well.
Oh, and he spins it. Acho saves it, and barely. Segrist almost goes right into the back of him. Acho might lose another position on the Ferrari. Fazale goes down the inside. He's going to squeeze him, but it might be good. But you got the guys coming out of the pits. Who's at the McLaren? But he keeps on to the position. Man, that last corner, I'm telling you, it is deadly. A bunch of people are spinning it there. If you don't have the right setup, the back end will come right around. And you need the perfect line going through there. And Acho, luckily, was able to hold on to it. But he's got a bunch of drivers behind him, like 4 or 5 drivers all behind him. It's train Acho at the moment. So we'll see if he can get a move on. Seacrest was able to get past in the exchange. He's going to be moving up to the top 3 to 4 drivers. But Jippo, 2.9 second gap to Stanley as he is just checking away, and we're only 5 laps into it.
RC and Jones right now are at that back of the train that is leaded by Asio, but Asio's just not having a good time on those tires for some reason. I've just seen him wiggle out of another corner there, out of the last corner, and now he's getting overtaken, it looks like, by Fuzz. Fuzz is going for the move down the inside, and he overtakes him before they make it into turn 2 and 3. Now into turn 3, though, as I said, it's a nice and wide corner here. It gives you an opportunity to go either way, but Asio just can't close up to the back. But losing another position. He was running in 5th place before he had that little half spin and went onto the grass at the last corner. We have another yellow flag. That's McLaren P1 again at the entry to turn 3. I think he keeps on touching the curb on the inside of turn 2, and it just spins out the car into turn 3. So it's very easy to lose it there. Now Faz and Asio. Another battle going on here. Asio thinking about it. He's going to have the DRS on the straight. Let's see if he's going to be close enough into turn 11. It's a tight one over here. Oh my goodness. Locking up the inside tire. Almost smashing into the back of...
Man, isn't this great? Man, we got Ferrari and McLaren action. Ferrari, McLaren, Ferrari, McLaren. Unfortunately, it's not for the lead of this race, but it is some good action here at the Dutch Grand Prix. But it's quite nice to see these teams battling it out, as we have a few different strategies as well. The Ferraris opting for the softs, the McLarens opting for the mediums, and it is providing a great scene to watch as we have, I think it's Ben and Giggle going for a move. Giggle down the inside, he's almost touching the back of Ben, but he doesn't get it done. The Williams is still ahead at the moment. We have yellows all across the track. I think, I don't know what is going on, but like I said, it is a new track. These drivers are not used to this as much as some of the others, so there's a lot of a learning curve to do. But
yeah, just been watching Arrow here. He's closed up the gap to Stanley. He was within about 9/10 of a second. He's now down to about 4/10 of a second. He's closing up that gap, and he wants to overtake Stanley as soon as possible because he's got Chargers within 1.2 seconds behind him. It's getting very close here for the podium runners.
Oh, someone comes into the pits. It's going to be... Oh, he fakes him. Stanley fakes him. He throws the fake card. And it didn't work, though, Stanley. You're going to have to try maybe next one. But now he knows your card. So we'll see how that works. Or maybe he was trying to break the slipstream, as it is kind of powerful, you know, and only on the front stretch, as everyone uses their deployment.
That was a fake.
Was it a fake?
Definitely. Oh, yeah, definitely. I think that was a very definite fake there. He knew exactly what he was doing. Obviously, in real life, I don't think that would be allowed. He can't cross the line. But, yeah, I mean, we've seen that in league racing since the creation of racing games. And, yeah, it's just another card, like you said.
Well, I wonder if now I really wonder if he will come in this time, because now he showed the card. Now, or you're bluffing two laps in a row, or are you actually coming in? Kind of leaves him flat-handed a little bit, but oh man, really that curb is really jumps the car over there, as Stanley really used it. So we come around here. This could be a really nice showing from Red Bull if Arrow can just get past the Renault, but it's going to be no joke. Let's see if Stanley pits here. Yeah, you know, he tried to fake again, but not as strong, as you can see. But
an overtake coming here from Asio, possibly on Fuzz into turn 1. They're still side by side, but Fuzz is gonna have to give up that position for at least now, and Asio's back up into 6th place. He was running in 5th before that little half spin that he's had, but now he's quite a ways away from Z-Grease. He's about 2.5 seconds behind him.
Yeah, and I think TCR Jones was able to get past RC as well, so he's moving up as well, and he's following his teammate on the better strategy. I think the mediums are starting to come a little bit more to life, as he's only at 1 point, barely outside that DRS zone is Jones on the Ferrari ahead. We'll see if he can move his way up with this preferred strategy. I would say the reverse strategy is probably the preferred strategy if you could stay out of trouble. But it looks Arrow and Stanley still very, very close, 0.3 of a second. Will we see these drivers pit again? I don't know. We'll see. Stanley, I think he has to pit this time, and I think he will. Arrow will go on for another lap. That is smart. Let's see if the overcut will work. It really, you know, it could. They were very, very close. But it's a Red Bull 1-2 at the moment, but it's not the net 1-2. Anyone else pitting down below? I think it was just Stanley. So we have a yellow.
Big incident. Asio spun around, and he also had somebody else. Oh, and he almost got into the way of Ben Swerven. And now he did get into the way of Stanley.
Oh,
Stanley
as he was exiting the pits. Oh, man.
And Asio gets a 5 second for that as well. Just for a little bit of that incident there, for that little touch. I'm not sure if he was battling with somebody, because I did see another car that was spun around there. So he might have been battling, and they might have come together through, I think it was turn, what was it, turn 1.
Yes, I mean, it's kind of not surprising. Acho might have some right front damage on the wing plate on the right side. We saw it, he lost it earlier in the race, and I guess he lost it again in turn 1. I don't know if everything is quite good. He goes off the track again, so definitely not what you want to see from the McLaren driver. But the other McLaren driver, Jones, is up to P5 now, and Stanley is probably going to lose out on P2 from Arrow, because Arrow is probably going to pit and get a nice clean start. As a giggle, almost losing the back end there. A little bit of too much on the throttle out of that corner, but he was able to save it on that one.
So Chargers is into the pits. RC, it looks like Fuzz is also into the pits. RC and Nip, Steven advance a position. They're battling, and RC misses his braking zone into turn 3 there. Almost missed it completely. But wow, this new track is definitely bringing out some crazy battles here tonight, and I think it's like a roller coaster track, just like Portimao is going to be in real life this weekend. But it's up and down, left, right, and everywhere, and it's a great flowing track. It's really enjoyable to drive, and I think it's bringing out the best in Golden Class tonight.
Yes, Stanley, with that incident in turn one with Acho, has found himself behind Chargers, who is, I believe, in P4. So he is lost out of position. He's going to lose out of position on Arrow as well. When Arrow does eventually pit, we see Jippo into the pit, so Arrow's going to have to do another lap on those soft tires. But Stanley definitely, I don't know if it's unfortunate, I don't know if he could really have done anything in that moment to get out of that incident, but he is on the hard tire and found himself behind the racing point of Chargers, but he's closing and closing, but he doesn't really get it done. But he still has plenty of time to catch up to maybe snag P2 on the podium.
Flying Jippo now putting on some real pressure onto RC7. Oh my goodness, there he almost touched the back of him as they were coming through turns 5 and 6. That was very dangerous, but I think Flying Jippo doesn't want to wait around for too long. Those guys on the medium tires, Jones and Steven, they might pull out a pretty good gap on them, and then it's going to be a harder time for Flying Jippo to close up that gap and get himself back into the podium positions.
Yeah, Jippo's got this race under control. He just has to stay patient as he's going through, exchanging through some of these, I wouldn't say lap traffic, but alternate strategy people as these guys have not pitted yet. He's just got to buy his time for one lap or so, and he'll get him on the straight here. I'm pretty sure of it with the DRS. Arrow, his teammate, pits Jippo with the DRS. Should be an easy move down the inside turn 1. And it does, so the Red Bull is moved up another position. He only has 2 more, and he will get the lead of this race back, which is good to see. Arrow does get P2 coming out of the pits now, right ahead
Stanley
of Ben Swerven.
And Chargers, oh my goodness, they're bumping wheels there through turn 1. That was very close between the two of them.
Yes,
Stanley
and
is up into
Stanley's
7th now.
Yeah, and he's about a second and a half, almost under 2 seconds. He could still see Arrow, so the battle is still on for P2. Probably not the win unless something happens up in front, but I don't want to say too much more, as I know my history and commentating and all that. I will shut up, Jippo.
Nip Steven now too is starting to put on a little bit of pressure on Jones for the current lead of the race. We have a Haas of Golderator that spun out at the exit of turn 3. And he is left the session.
Puff Digital retired, went right into Golderator. Oh, man, was that a big hit. I am surprised that's just a VSC.
Oh my goodness.
We do run no ghosting. There's no ghosting. And I don't know, Puff Digital is a new driver. I don't know if he saw him. It's kind of a corner where you would see him. I don't know why you would go through him, even if ghosting was on. But that was a big hit. And lesson learned on his half. 2 of them are out.
RC and Steven and Shokodia decided to jump into the pits on their virtual safety car. Nip Steven puts on a medium tire, so just a brand new medium. He was already on the medium before. I'm wondering if he thinks of taking this tire until the end now.
Yeah, I think if you pit around now, you should be good towards the end. I know the tire wear is quite high, but I think if you just manage it throughout, I think those drivers should be fine. Oh, with the... Yeah, I don't know if that really played into anyone's hand towards the front, but it is back green. I'm surprised it's not a safety car. But Ben Swerven's up to P4. He did not pit, though, but he's got track position, which if a real safety car came out, maybe it would play into his hand. Ben Swerven is... up to P4, that's pretty good on him. But Jones actually leads the race with the medium tire. If only that played into his hands, he probably would have pit under the VSC. But I don't think he had the opportunity to, and all these other guys pitted as well. So it really didn't play into anybody's hand towards the front.
Nice little DRS train right now in Ben Swerven, Arrow, and Stanley there. right down into turn 1. But I was going to say, you have in a Giggle and Seagrease, they are super close to each other. Seagrease down in 8th place, and you have in the Giggle is putting some real pressure on him on an older set of medium tires. So he's going to have to pit.
Alright, let's see. Everyone's pretty good throughout here. It looks like Intent's going for another pit change and then another wing change as well, so not the best of days on his half. It seems like a lot of this could be setup related. I mean, it's been the same drivers having issues today, and if you get one thing wrong, it's just kind of a downhill battle at that point. It's a losing battle if everything's wrong.
Yeah.
This is the first time coming here, so yeah, the drivers really don't know what setup to run because they've never ran it before. Steven down the inside of Charters. It's going to be a kind of an easy move, but he's going to understeer up into him with the medium tire. It should get the traction, and AlphaTauri's up into P6. Getting his elbows out, I like to see that. Steven, I don't know if he will be able to make it to the end. I think it should barely just be 15. It might be a stretch, but we'll see how it goes. He's got nothing to lose. He's a silver class guy. He's got nothing to lose. Might as well go for it, right?
Absolutely, and good luck to him. I'm hoping that it will work out for him, but this this DRS train of Steven, Stanley, and Ben Swerven, those guys are still battling it out for position. Ben Swerven is doing an amazing job of staying ahead of all of them. Very, very impressive so far.
Oh, he goes a little bit deep, maybe opening the door for Stanley. I think Stanley has the general pace. I mean, he's got the better tires. He should find himself past the Williams down the front stretch if he could just keep it in the throttle. And yeah, that's a beautiful exit from Stanley. He should find himself into P4. But you got the AlphaTauri Steven down the inside. Oh, he's moving. Steven is going to get the Williams. Man, Ben, maybe you spoke a little too soon there, Blinn. He lost 2 positions there, but nonetheless, he did a wonderful job holding those guys on better tires. But Steven is on a charge, and like I said, he has nothing to lose. He's in it to win it today.
Yeah, there's nothing Ben could have done against those two guys. They just had a beautiful exit with DRS and overtake enabled. There was absolutely nothing to do, and he just watched us. Oh my goodness, we have Diego who's out, but his car is still... No, it's not going to rejoin back. He's going into the pits there.
He retired in the pit lane there, so we should avoid a safety car. That's good news, but bad if you're Jones. He's hoping it does create a safety car. He's leading this race. He's going to go an extra lap as Jones. I wonder how far can those mediums go? They're going pretty good. 17 laps so far. That's pretty farther than I expected, I think. So Ben is now into the pits. And he speeds into the pit lane. A 5-second penalty to Ben Swerven. That's not what you want to see. Nice helmet, Ben. Look at that. That is a beauty. Gotta appreciate a good helmet now and then. And we got a little train going here. We got the Alfa Romeo of Giggle, RC, and the Ferrari, and Joshua in the Renault. 8, 9, and 10. They're all separated, probably within a second of each other. RC's getting a run. Will he make a move? He's really close.
Yeah, they're all having to just create their own opportunities for overtaking around here today. The DRS zones, I don't really feel like they're enough here except for the start-finish straight. So you just got to go for an opportunity when you see somebody going wide or make a mistake. And that requires you to stay really close to them. RC now has DRS on the exit of turn 10 into turn 11. Oh, they're so close. They did touch tires there. And you have RC7 touched the back wheel of you having the Giggle and made a little crunch noise. And that usually means that you might have lost a little piece of your front wing. So that might not be exactly what RC was looking for. Joshua now gets a really good exit on them, and let's see if he's going to be able to do anything. RC moves up a position, but Joshua is not going to be close enough.
Yeah, nice move. It looks like turn 1 is definitely the prime overtaken spot. So RC moves himself up into P8. Joshua's probably soon next. As Giggle, 18 laps on those mediums. Jones as well. Wow, look at that. 18 laps. Whoa, look at Renault. Josh, he might make a move now. He's not waiting for no DRS. He might make one of those unconventional overtakes in the middle sector. Let's see if he might actually do it, though. You never know.
I just wanted to mention as well, Flying Jippo is really starting to dig into the gap that he had to Jones. It was over 3 seconds just a couple of laps ago. We're now down to 1.1, so we're going to be down to DRS zone here in maybe a lap or two.
Yeah, and I was managing the gap through Arrow and Jippo, and that gap is increasing as well. It was 5.5 last lap, and or a few laps ago, and Jippo increased it to over another second over his teammates. So Jippo definitely has the speed today. Josh is going to easily overtake the Alfa Romeo on the front stretch, and he will get himself up to P9, so that's another driver up in position. And let's move on up to the front. Steven and Stanley seem to be relatively close, and that's Arrow as well. So this is P3, a net P2. So this is for the podium.
Oh yeah, and so far, you know, Flying Jippo and Arrow, as I was predicting, are up there. Asio, of course, had his little incident, had a couple of incidents, really. He had a half spin on the last corner, and then looked like he had an incident with somebody coming together in an overtake opportunity in turn 1. So that hurt him a little bit. I think now the new possible contender for the last step there is going to be Steven.
Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty something spectacular if he can actually get a podium from starting, like, I don't think he started last in this race, but he was definitely towards the rear as reserves do not qualify. But like, I think he had the reverse strategy, so you know that probably played into his hand. But he still has to make these mediums last, and Jones is still out there on the 20 lap old mediums. So if Jones is doing it, maybe Steven could do it as well. So the medium, I guess, can last a little bit longer than expected. But I think Jones will stay out there as long as his tires can go, and as long as he's still in the lead of this race. If he snags a perfect safety car or a VSC, that could bring him back into the mix, as the field is starting to spread out here a little bit, as the pace is starting to show through the different drivers. But these three drivers here, they're really just stuck together for the podium here. They're just riding it until they see an overtaking opportunity.
It's going to be lots of question marks for the end here. How long is Jones going to keep on going on those medium tires? He's keeping just over a 1 second gap back to Flying Jippo, but that gap is running down very, very quickly, so he's going to have to make that decision soon. We have a yellow flag in Sector 2. I think that's McLaren P1, again, having a little bit of a moment there. Nip, Steven, Stanley, and Arrow, those guys just completely locked into each other. There's nothing they can do. Whenever they get onto the straights, it looks like Steven and Stanley have DRS, but somehow Arrow is just managing to stay ahead of both of them on those straights, which possibly might be down to setup.
Yeah, he might be a little bit lower on the front wing, or maybe he's just deploying all of his battery on that front straightaway. But a half a second with Jones, those medium tires starting to go off. But Jippo's gotta, stay patient here. He knows he's got to pit. All he's got to do is pretty much get the DRS when in a time, and he should get the move. But Jones stays out another lap, so 22 laps. That is pretty crazy. But 3/10 is Jippo to Jones. I wonder if, Jippo kind of caught him at the wrong time, because he's going to have to sit probably this whole lap unless he tries to make another opportunity through the middle sector. But then again, you don't want to harm your car because you do have the gap to wait another lap. But maybe he will, as Giggle left the session, hopefully he could get back in. He just pitted for soft tires down into P14. I don't know if that's a disconnection or if he left by himself. I wouldn't think he would have just left, but we'll see if he could get back into the car. Jippo with DRS on Jones. He's going to have to wait again, so I think he'll just wait this one out, which is the smart thing to do, given the circumstances.
So still watching this battle of Steven, Stanley, and Arrow. Oh, it is just ridiculous. I have no idea how Arrow is managing to stay ahead of both of them with DRS on him and everything else. Now, is that you having a giggle slowing down, or was that a Ferrari? No, that was RC7. He had a moment there coming out of turn 10, so he dropped a couple of positions. Very weird, not exactly sure what happened there. Oh, now Stanley had a little bit of a bad exit out of turn 1, and Nips even thought about going for a move, but wasn't quite close enough. Arrow in front, also almost losing the back right now, coming out of, it was turn 3. Wow, this is starting to heat up right now. I think we're going to start seeing some either possible incidents or really, really close battling here in just a second.
I mean, I'll take both of them. Incidents are overtaken and good racing. I'll take anyone at this point. But these three, something is looming in the background. We still have about 12 or so laps to go, so this is going to get pretty nice for the podium positions. These three is just waiting to put the show on, but this might bring Chargers in. And look at Jones, he puts the softs on, so he's going to be the quickest guy on track at the moment. He's also come out in a P6 position. He's only a few seconds off this podium. He might, you know, given the pace, I don't know what the difference is, but he might be able to get back up to these drivers and compete for a podium.
That would be incredible. I would really love to see that, and with the soft tire on, it definitely gives you a real advantage over everybody else who's running hards or mediums. I mean, those guys have been running, especially towards the top, those guys have been running those tires for at least 10 laps. He's going to have a massive advantage. He just needs to stay out of any sort of trouble and make his overtakes quick and swift. So then he'll be able to rise up the positions. He is closing up the gap to Chargers very, very slowly, though. We have a yellow flag in Sector 2.
I think it was
and
maybe
I'm not sure what that
Giggle?
was for.
Yeah, just maybe a half spin on the Haas part potentially. But if you are Jones, you want these guys to battle as much as you can, so it helps catching up a little bit. He was 4 seconds off of Chargers, and now he's cut down a few tenths. Another yellow. What do we got? What do we got? Was it McLaren? McLaren, I think, as well. He's not having the best day. A VSC.
Oh, just too late for Jones there. Just a little too late. And then Tent has retired from the race. He's actually retired right in... Is he in the pits or is he on the straight there?
Stanley's out. How's he out? Oh,
Yeah,
they crashed on the straight.
I'm pretty... Yeah, I'm pretty sure. There we go. Yeah, I'm just watching right now as Joshua comes around the corner, but it was a crash. So Intent crashed on the side there. Stanley smashed into him, and I'm surprised we don't have a safety car still. We're still under virtual safety car.
Wow, would you look at that? That is crazy, a VSC. Wait, so Intent was parked on the left and Stanley just RIP'd. He's dead. He's out.
Yeah.
Wow, that changes a lot. And Steven pits as well. Jones is up to P4. That actually could have helped him. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he stayed out would have helped him a little bit more, but I think this is... he's in a beautiful position. He's 3.5 off of Chargers on the best prime tire, or option tire if you want to look at it that way. He's got 10 laps to get himself up to the podium position, which... he's only 3.2 seconds off of. He could see Chargers right through there. So, man, that is crazy. I think Steven as well got... oh, he pitted under the VSC. He's putting softs on. So that pulls the question of whether he can make it to the end of mediums. That question's out. Now he's on the softs. As we're down to 14 runners. Ben and Fazale going for a move. Ben moved on up. He's up to P10. So
Wow.
that changes everything. I'm really surprised we did not get a safety car. I'm a little biased. I do think I probably would not have liked to seen a safety car because I think Jippo and Arrow in this Red Bull crew is performing very well. Another VSC. Man, what is going on? What do we got?
What is going on? I don't see anybody parked up anywhere. Not really sure. Oh, Intent has left, but he was already crashed out, so I have no clue what happened here. Another VSC, a third VSC. Still no safety cars. Everybody's gonna slow down a little bit. If you notice, actually, because of that VSC, a lot of guys got spread out all over the place. Steven, of course, went into the pits. Jones went into the pits, but Chargers is now running in third place and holding on to the last podium place.
And we're back green, so only like a 20-second VSC. Oh, what happened to Jones? He's half spun it in the grass. He lost a few seconds there, and that's not what you want to see from Team McLaren. He is now 7 seconds off from Chargers in that podium position, and he's got Steven behind just barely. I don't know if he got on the traction too early, hit a curb as they were going back green, but oh man, that is going to hurt his progress here. 6.5
Yeah, this race
seconds.
is starting to heat up. Just the last 8 laps to go now, and it looks like it's not over yet. Jones, of course, very unfortunate for him with that little moment that he just had, and now Steven is in a better position to try and attack. Let's see if he's going to put on the pressure later on. It looks like Seagrease pitted for a soft tire as well, and he's come out in 9th place and now trying to put the pressure onto RC7. We have another VSC.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know if anyone's been along a little while, but this reminds me of the VSC glitch that was involved in F1 2017. And for some reason, Jones gets a drive-through.
Oh my god, this is just turning out to be the craziest race we've had so far.
Oh man, Jones.
I don't know what is going to, if it's the game or if somebody keeps on possibly going off at a certain point that triggers it.
No, this is definitely
it is
a
possibility
glitch
there.
within the game because now Jones is going to have to pit, but otherwise he'll get disqualified within the next 3 laps, which is not, I don't know, Jones has been having a rough season, and this was probably one of his best chances to get a nice position, even a podium, and the game just took that away from him. Whether it's his fault or not, I don't know, but it is not looking good.
That was a really nice move there. So Seagrease and RC7 were battling for position coming into the last corner, and Seagrease did the switchback in turn 13. So as they were coming through the bank, they were actually side by side. But as they came out, Seagrease, of course, got the DRS. So that was a very, very nice switchback move there.
Man, it looks like, I don't know if that was Intenti, who's typing in the comments. He said, I crashed going to the pits, my car reset to the middle of the track, and the game is broken. That's just the 3rd comment he said. So I guess, I think that was Intent pitting. Maybe he pitted, hit the wall or something, and spun in the pits, and the game reset him right on the racing line, and that is probably why Stanley was crashed out there.
Nip Steven going for the move on Jones, and he's up into 4th and sets a fastest lap, 1:11.2, currently beating the TCR lap record set by Dorian last night.
Yeah, and speaking of last night, well, let's talk about tomorrow, the Platinum Class Division, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, for their inaugural Dutch Grand Prix, as we have a close championship rival cooking up in the next half of the season between Sean, Secret, and Kersey. So it should be a pretty crazy race tomorrow. Make sure you all tune in for that one. And I think we'll see a lot of common theme. You might see some rain, you might see some spins, and you might see some VSCs. I don't know.
Yeah, so TCR and Nip Steven have just lapped You Having a Giggle. So he becomes the first lapped driver in this race, but we have 6 drivers who have not finished already. So we started off with the full 20 on the grid. and we're only down to 14 right now. TCR Jones losing quite a lot of time back to Steven, and he's going into the pits.
Yeah, well,
Why would he pit now?
well, no,
He's got
his,
brand new tires.
he's got his drive-through penalty.
Oh,
He's got to serve,
drive-through, that's right.
yeah, from the game. I don't know if it was his fault or the game's glitchiness, but it is a quick pit lane. I feel like he just entered and he exited. That is one of the shortest pit lanes I have ever seen. That is crazy. It's almost as if he cut the track. It might even be quicker to go through the pits. I might opt for that. That was really quick. I blinked and he's through the pits. I don't know if that's much of a penalty. So he's P6, so it's not the end of the world. He might be able to get P5 at the end of it. Josh is only 3 or so seconds up the road, so we'll see if he can make inroads. Let's just go back to the front as well. Jippo is leading this race, an 8.6 gap over his teammate, the other Red Bull of Arrow, and he's got plenty of track. He just has to be patient and bring this one home, and it would be his 6th win and the inaugural win in the Golden Class for Flying Jippo. So he's just got to stick in there a few more laps before he could see that checkered flag. And Arrow as well, and a really nice job on his half. Qualifying P3, was able to get past the Renault of Stanley and support the Red Bull and his teammate in the constructors as well, so it's a pretty good day for them. Unless Chargers in P3 can move up and get to Arrow in the next few laps. The Racing Point of Chargers also putting together a pretty good race. He's the Silver Class champion of 2 seasons ago, so he is proven he's a consistent runner at the top of the Golden Class. Steven is in Silver Class. He's making his bit to go to Golden next year. He's reserving today, and a very, very nice reserve race on his half. Started towards the rear of the field, as reserves do for this season. He's up to P4. Joshua, 22 laps on those hards, up to P5. Another good day on this half of the Renault, but not so much on his teammate. And then Jones, we saw he was in prime position for the podium, and things went bad pretty quickly. Him half spinning, I think, in this corner that he is in right now, and then speeding under the VSC, which I don't know if it was his fault or not, but he had the drive-through penalty. And then we have M9 Racing, Seacrest, RC, and Ben, who all together put some, I guess, a pretty good race to even stick it in. A lot of drivers was spun out and crashed, and from Stanley and Tent, McLaren, Deget, Goldrate, and Puff Digital, they all DNF, so good for those drivers to finish today. And yeah, that's your top 10.
Yeah, just want to say a quick thank you to everybody who's watching the stream right now and who's been tuning in and out so far. We've had quite a few viewers, some good comments coming in. Stanley actually says that he was watching behind him coming on to the start-finish straight, so he wasn't even looking in front, and that is why he ended up smashing into Intent. But both of their races, unfortunately, over here tonight. But yeah, everybody watching, you guys are amazing. Leave us a like. Leave us some more comments and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Look at Asio's fastest lap, 110.7. Another TCR lap record there.
Nice. That's just one more record to break tomorrow for those platinum drivers, as hopefully I could do it. Hopefully I could do it tomorrow. But it should be fun. Should be fun tomorrow.
Seagrease had a massive had a massive lockup
Does he
into
have a
turn
puncture?
11. I think he possibly might. He's pulling off onto the grass, but I'm not exactly sure what happened there. But basically, he just missed the corner completely and lost out on about 3 positions. Doesn't look like he has a puncture,
No,
but
it
he is
doesn't
coming
look
into the pits right now.
Maybe he will snag the fastest lap, unless he tries to retire from the session. He's going to put some new softs on. It doesn't look like a puncture. I don't know what the issue was. Maybe it's a mechanical. Maybe his wheels acting up. Maybe not. He's back. Oh, and no, he did retire, so he's retiring in the pits. Hopefully that doesn't trigger anything. We are only a few laps away, so it really should not. That promotes Shokadia up to P11. A nice quiet race from him. So everyone's just gapping. We really just have to get to the end here. I think everyone played their cards, and it's all on the table. And now the clock's just ticking down. That's really what we're at this point. 2 laps to go. Jippo's leading this race, and Arrow in P2, Chargers P3. That's really what we're looking at. But Secrets' car, even though he retired in the pits, for some reason the game brings the car out, all the way out, which I don't think should be a possibility. I mean, if you retire your car, it should stay in the pits, wouldn't you think? But I guess they proved different. But yeah. So 13 drivers
So
now,
yeah,
as Giggle will eventually move up past Segrist.
yeah, we're about to go on to the last lap, so I just wanted to mention the position changes as it stands right now. So Flying Jippo and Arrow both moved up a position from where they started in this race. Same thing goes for Chargers. So you only started 4th, but because of Stanley's little mishap, he ended up jumping a position there as well. Steven, though, started in 16th. He has gained 12 positions in this race, up in 4th right now. Joshua gained 6 positions. Jones gained 6 positions as well, so even though he had a
Steven
couple
went
of
for a
moments
spin.
there and the drive-through.
Steven's on a
Oh,
he did a
no.
spin. He did a little spinaroo. Did a 360, but
He's still holding on to
he's
this
fine.
position, though. Still
He's-
in 4th.
Yes, he's still in 4th. He just got to watch out for the tire temps through these corners. He's got a little bit of a gap behind, so just stick with it, Steven, and you'll get. So we come.
But yeah, even though
closing in.
Jones
Good.
had a couple of incidents,
Yeah.
still gained 6 positions in today's race. Really good.
Good race. I mean, I would classify it as a good race, but it could have even been a better race. But who's got the best race is Flying Jippo coming around the last corner. He had trouble in qualifying, but not today. He's going to increase his championship lead in the Golden Class. Jippo wins the inaugural Dutch Grand Prix, and Arrow, his teammate, it's going to be a 1-2 for Red Bull. Arrow makes that a 1-2. And Chargers for the 3rd step on the podium. The Racing Point, that's your top 3. Did anybody have that top 3? I don't know. I definitely didn't, so I was wrong. But Steven ends up P4, and I think, oh, look at Jones coming to the line. Woo! Barely. Only a 10th, so Jones almost got P5 at the end, but I think that's just how his season is going, unfortunate for him. Barely is not enough, so he's going to be P6, but that's your results there. Pretty exciting race, a little bit of everything. Pretty, I would say, domination from Jippo's part. He literally had the best jump in the world, which I don't know if anyone had a better start. Would be Jippo. I mean, if you rewatch the stream, you will see I don't know if he went before the lights or what, but it definitely looked like it. And from that point on, I think he had no troubles whatsoever. I think the most trouble he had was trying to get past a few drivers who didn't pit, and he had to wait a lap or so to do that. But other than that, a very good race on his hand, and he's doing the Egyptian walk, as Sebastian Vettel does as well in the Red Bull. So a good day for Red Bull, good day for Jippo, and it's going to be a 6th win in the season, and I don't think that's it for him. Somebody has to step up if they want to, be at the top. They're gonna have to beat that guy. And today, I don't think anyone was really close to that, as Jippo definitely had the advantage. We have a few time penalties at the end. Ben and Fazale probably speeding, and Acho was able to get that fastest lap. He does not get the point. He's outside the top 10, but that's a 10.739. And yeah, any thoughts, Blinn, on the race?
Wow, that was a really nice first race for this class and for TCR in the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort. It was very impressive, especially from Flying Jippo and a couple of other drivers. I would say Nip Steven definitely impressed us here today, coming in as a reserve and doing a very good job at getting a really good result here. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful race. Just trying to invite the guys into the party right now.
Awesome. If anybody's watching, like I said, the support would be very much appreciated. If anybody has any questions for the top 3 that you would want me to ask, leave them in the comments and I will ask them. But other than that, don't forget tomorrow is the Platinum Class race for the Dutch Grand Prix, and next week, where are we at next week? We are at Australia, I believe. I think we're at Australia next week, so we haven't raced there last season, so it's been a little bit of a while, season 8, since we raced Australia, so it should be a fun race nonetheless. Down below as well is the website, the Fantech affiliation link, if anyone's getting any Fantech gear. The link to that is down below. All of our social media as well at eTrinity Racing. It's all the good stuff down below in the description. Drivers are joining here for the post-race interviews. Before we begin, just make sure your audio sharing settings are on. Just double check that very quickly, and then we will get going on the post-race interviews. So I guess we'll start. Who do you want to start with, Blinn? Should we start with Jippo?
Yeah, do the winner first.
Let's do the winner first. They get priority, eh? They were the first to cross the line. They're the first to get to the podium. Let me just get back here. Let's make it look good and official here. All right. So Flying Jippo, congratulations. Hello. Welcome again to the post-race interviews. Your 6th win on the season. You did not get pole position. You barely missed out on it, but it seemed as though it was a relatively calm, collected, and just mature drive in the Golden Class. Was there any difficulties at any point throughout that race?
Actually, yeah. The hard tire, I did not like that. I was actually really struggling through the fast corners with the rear end. It was going out a lot. I actually went into the gravel a little bit sometimes, but it wasn't too bad, and I was able to keep the lead. And as you said, 6 wins. It's incredible to think about that, because a year ago, or less than a year ago, last season, I was struggling to get on the podium, and now here I am with my 6th win. It's incredible.
Are you kind of lucky to even be standing here today? Because we saw in qualifying you had quite the spins and you almost took yourself out. Are you lucky? Were you trying to not show off today, or what? What was the deal in qualifying?
Well, it would have been better. I'm glad I didn't get the commentator's curse, but no, that was the wet qualifying session was extremely difficult. Of course, it's our first wet weather of the season, at least as far as I'm aware. I don't remember anything. And that final little banking oval thing, oh my God, that was difficult. And on my first lap out, I think a McLaren or someone spun in front of me, and I had to really avoid them as well as trying to correct my spin. And it was, yeah, I'm honestly lucky to be standing up here, because I could have started last. But once again, I'm so happy that I can claim a 6th win and continue the lead of the championship.
Nice.
Yeah,
go ahead. Yeah, you have a question? Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, and a 1-2 here tonight for yourself and your teammate as well. Do you guys plan strategies before the race, or do you guys just go into it and try to sort of play off of each other?
We could. I mean, Aerofist, if you're down for that, I'd love to plan strategies. But it's good to see my teammate right there in the mix. We lead the constructors, and I mean, yeah, it's just a really good feeling.
Nice. I have one question, last question, Jippo.
What's
6
up?
wins on the season, leading the championship. I don't want to jinx anything, but given the domination, what is kind of... I know the goal is obviously the championship, but as far as the wins, what's the goal? How many more can we get from you this season?
Well, I think if for some reason if I can hit 10, I don't want to be overconfident, because that's one of my weaknesses. But if I can hit 10 somehow, I don't know. I'll jump in a pool naked or something. I don't know. I'll do something. But 10, if I can hit that, that'd be amazing.
Awesome.
Well, you heard it here.
You heard it
On
here
TCR.
first, folks.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the win, and
Thank you.
good luck to the rest of your season and your championship hopes. We
Thank
move
you.
to Arrow Fist, P2, started P3, and pretty straightforward race. Very, very nice. Able to get P2, a 1-2 for the Red Bull. Talk us through your race today.
All right, so first of all, I just want to say that you're just doing so good, Jippo. Like you just seem like, as for the moment, again, I don't want to jinx you, but you seem like unbeatable right now. It's incredible. It just feels like you're like a tier above everyone else, and I can respect that.
Thank you, thank you. Appreciate
You're
that,
welcome.
man.
You're welcome.
You'll be up there
And I'm
soon,
also
don't
down
worry.
to like, I got you, and I'm also down to like practice strategy and stuff. But anyways, okay. My race, I mean, it was pretty straightforward. I wouldn't say it was the easiest race because I had Stanley like right behind me for a long time, and unfortunately he got wrecked. I think because Intent got like teleported to the middle of the track or something. I don't know, but it's really unfortunate for that. But yeah, it was just softs to hards. I had to stay out one extra lap because Jippo went in on the lap I was supposed to pit. But besides that, I mean, it wasn't too bad.
Nice. Is that something that maybe would not have happened if you guys? It seems like you guys within the last minute bonded pretty well. maybe next race you'll be in a party and maybe you'll know when you're pitting, so that doesn't happen potentially.
Who knows? That could be fun. Again,
Yeah.
I'm down to do that. That
Awesome.
sounds dope. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on P2. Blinn, do you have any questions for Arrow?
Yeah, I mean, did you see Intent, like, what happened to him exactly? Because he was saying he was trying to come into the pits and then he got reset. What I saw is his car sort of being in the pits and then on the complete other side of the track, and then Stanley smashed into him. Can you tell us what you saw from your perspective?
Yeah, because I read it in the chat that he got like teleported to the middle of the track. But what I saw, I remember the VSC came out and I slowed down and I was looking behind me to see where Stanley was. And then I look back ahead of me and I see Intent like right there. So I swerved. And then I don't think Intent saw him in time because I was in front of him. And then he just smashed right into the back of Intent, which again is really unfortunate because I was looking forward to battling with him for the rest of the race. That would have been fun.
Awesome.
All right, congratulations on P2.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll move to P3. Chargers. Congratulations on P3. I don't know. This is not your first podium, right? You've had other podiums. Is that correct?
I think I've got third, two other
Yeah,
times.
you have a few times. So, it seems like a lot of drivers were spinning and a lot of chaos throughout the field. You kind of stayed away from that and was able to get P3. I guess talk us through a little bit of your race and how were you able to get to P3? Was it possible even if Stanley didn't have his issue, or do you think you were kind of fortunate in that way?
Well, I mean, I think I kind of lucked into getting P3. I think I was running too much wing. Like, I had no straight line speed. Even if I caught up to Arrow, I was never going to pass him because I couldn't do anything in a straight line. But yeah, I probably would have finished, like, I definitely would have been behind Arrow and Stanley if Stanley didn't have that thing out of the VSC happen to him. And then, I don't know what's going on, like, 10 laps ago or whatever, all those VSCs kept coming out, but that kind of, like, really helped me out. Kind of helped me out into getting third because I think it was Jones was behind me on like fresh offs and he was gaining a lot. And then the VSCs kind of like took laps away, and then it also I think one of the times he might have like spun or something on a restart. I'm not sure, but it kind of helped me get P3. So I'm kind of just happy that I'm getting third here.
Awesome. Well, even if luck goes your way, you take it, and that's what I guess you did. But I don't think it was all luck today. So congrats on P3. Blinn, you have any more questions for our podium sitters?
Yeah, Chargers, you've got 3 podiums to your name now, 3 third places. Are we hoping to see you possibly getting a second or maybe even a win if, Flying Jippo has a bad time?
Definitely hoping for a win at some point. We'll see what happens.
All right, good luck for the rest of the season and great performance here tonight. Really nice drive.
Alright, so that'll do it for the podium interviews, and that will also do it for today's round 9 of the Dutch Grand Prix. Just want to say one more time, for the final time, thank you all for watching and appreciate all the support. Don't forget, please tune in tomorrow for the Platinum class at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. Show the Platinum guys the best of TCR, show them a little bit of support as we go into a race we've never been at before. Like mentioned, all the info is down below, so it's all in the description. Other than that, thank you to the podium sitters. Thank you, Blinn, for calling the race with me. It was a little fun today. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, thank you all for watching. I am Seafreeze, and until then, good night, everybody.